Welcome back to the UKLC. My name is Zig Scoundrel, and I'm joined by
Why did you have to look at me? Why did you have to look at me?
Look, we're halfway through the night. I'm channeling my inner veteran. I had to have a banana for energy.
Yeah, and
I've eaten it. And Orc said I couldn't eat it on stream because there's no way that you can eat a banana without looking inappropriate. And I argued that you could.
Yeah, and then you were stuffing it in your mouth, and you're like, "Oh, you're gonna have to open." And I'm like, "Okay."
You've just done this in front of your face, and you called me potentially inappropriate for eating a banana. Anyway, I'm stocked up on energy now, in good long-release energy, high in potassium, ready to go into the next game.
Put banana everywhere, please stop.
Ready to go to the next game of MnM taking on Enclave.
There's little bits of banana everywhere.
I'll deal with that after we've done this stream because we have MnM versus Enclave coming at you. I'm excited. You're excited. Let's get going.
I'm frustrated, but excited. Yeah. So, Enclave yet to get a win. Still looking for that. MnM have won, but still obviously not hitting the point that they would like to. For the longest time, we're the non-academy team that was sort of closest to challenging them and did on occasion manage to sort of go toe-to-toe with them. Not so much now. They're looking a little bit rough. I think for MnM, their drafts have been a bit varied. Their first game, they drafted for early pressure, and I like the adaptation. I like the Ziggs bot lane. Their game 2 against Excel was really rough. And then they had that matchup where they were up against, I believe it was Barrage. I will just double check that one to make completely sure. Yeah, it was against Barrage. Well, they were super reliant on the mid jungle because they took Lucian mid and they had the Elise. And they basically needed to get ahead early, and they didn't.
They were shut down pretty hard, yeah.
Yeah, and their composition kind of fell apart beyond that. So this is a chance for them to get a solid win on the table against Enclave. It's just sort of, they weren't able to execute for Enclave. Against Envision, we had that great moment from Only Angel, but otherwise, it felt like they were just not on point. It felt like there were moments where people were getting caught out. It felt like people slipping up. It felt like even when they made these great big plays, like the one from Only Angel that secured them the Baron, they lost all the pressure because people got picked. So MnM, it's hard to say them compared to Envision. I think right now I'd probably say Envision a little stronger than them. So I think this could be an easier matchup. But if they make those same mistakes, it won't make a difference. They will lose. Yeah,
we'll have to see how this goes. Ziggs being banned away. It's going to be a LeBlanc as well as an Akali too. We're followed up by the Syndra, of course, as well, getting taken off the board too. A lot of mid lane bans.
Yeah, a lot of focus towards mid lane. LeBlanc, target away from Chimera, had a lot of success on that in his game 1, really pop-off play. And the Ziggs for a Chu is a staple, very hard to deal with. Obviously, you can just permanently clear waves, and then it's safe as a solo pick, so you can allow Ephias to roam around. And Enclave going for a little bit of, we're on blue side, we get first priority on picks, so we're just going to ban away sort of targeted picks to Olaf away from Soft as well. Whereas MnM so far, very much going for power picks in the Akali and Syndra, and then the Aphelios as well, means that there's still some pretty big AD carry options available. There's a Senna, which is the new champion seen as a tier 1. There's MF, if you want to go a little bit more old school. But the fact that you can trade those off, Enclave potentially could go in a different direction with this first pick and actually going for the Elise cleanse, which
I suppose it kind of denies it from Soft, but there's still a Lee Sin available for Soft if he wants it. I mean, we talk about champions that we think we know Soft for, Elise, Olaf, and Lee Sin being some of the most prioritized for him.
Yeah, so I mean, but they get a choice of their jungler, which maybe you can argue is more important than choice of AD carry. It's debatable, but either way, they managed to secure that one. And we saw Chimera get challenged in the mid lane by a high aggressive jungler in the early levels, so maybe that can be implemented here. I mean, I'm going to look in the Nautilus, which is interesting this early, is all I'm going to say.
It's not something that... I mean, Nautilus used to be really, really sort of like first rotation worthy in some instances, but I feel like he's not quite at that level now. It's going to be the Lee Sin for Soft.
Yeah, and I feel like it kind of puts you in a rough position because I feel like Enclave now have the pick of AD carry. It's been passed over. And I feel like Nautilus Senna doesn't offer that much safety to her.
Sure.
And so if the other side, if Enclave go to MF here, it's a rough situation to pick Senna into. So I could potentially see that coming out. But it looks like they want to actually just go for the Senna in this situation.
Well, I suppose if you think that you've got a bot lane that can match into a Nautilus with Senna and you keep Senna safe, then...
That's the thing. You can go Senna Braum, you can go Senna Tom here, and you can hold out pretty well. Senna Thresh, the Thresh deals well with Soft. You have a lot of options in this situation. And I guess maybe the Nautilus pick was they didn't want to reveal too much too early, but I don't think it necessarily helps you massively in that regard.
Could be the Senna Leona, which is being thought of here.
Could play a flex Nautilus as well.
It's true. I mean, where would you maybe put it, top or
mid?
Mid. I mean, I haven't seen a Nautilus mid in some time. Is it still good?
It's okay. It's still playable. It was playable quite a bit at Worlds. It's still fine. It's matchup depending, of course, and obviously with teams leaning a bit more into scaling now than on the Worlds patch, less so. But it can be a dominant force to deal with. So they will take likely the MF here. And I'm not a big fan of Leona in this situation that came out from Enclave. So I feel like you're going up against Nautilus Misfortune for Chu Ephias. I feel like in equal skill bot lanes, they have the advantage. I think it's easy to execute, and it's harder for Senna to play out this matchup. Like, Leona is good when she gets up in someone's face, but like, you don't offer a ton of peel towards your AD carry other than locking up the Misfortune. But in a situation where Misfortune throws down Make It Rain on top of your AD carry and then Nautilus just solo kills her, that can realistically happen. Either way, into the next rotation. So Thresh coming out as a ban. And I think this indicates that MnM, they know it could potentially be a Nautilus in the mid lane.
Sure. I mean, I suppose that the warning bells come on when you see a Nautilus first pick very early on. You think, well, that's a bait, right?
It's possible as a flex pick. And I think the Thresh would do a lot to discourage that Leona pick. Obviously be able to flay to interrupt the dash. And then Kiana and Lucian, both big aggressive mid laners for the most part, being banned away from Enclave. So potentially limiting what Air can play. Now for Enclave to go for the next ban,
are they going to just stick with supports?
I don't think you should at this point. I think
you took the Thresh, which is the one support that you think.
Yeah, I think 2 is a little bit overkill. Soraka makes a lot of sense, denying that away from top lane and mid as an option. Because, you know, Lucian and Kiana could plenty cause trouble for the Soraka. So it denies that one as an option. Now for MnM, you have your choice. Do you want to go for a safe blinding from Mummus? The set is still open.
And the set is being thought of. Something that we have seen a little bit of. It was first picked, I believe, in our first game of the day by Bear Tree. And it's going to be MnM taking the set in this situation for Mummus. So we can only assume that there is that flexibility now between mid and also support that the Nautilus provides. If at all we do see that go mid, I assume that's now going to be locked in for Nautilus support. I personally feel that way, but I guess, again, it still has that flexibility.
Who knows? Still has flexibility. Now for Enclave, the typical one I would expect is Aatrox for Only Angel.
He's a very accomplished Fiora player.
But he's going to go for the Gangplank instead. So wanting to assist the team play on that side of the map and just play something that scales pretty well. The question is going to be, what will Air play in the mid lane? So he did pick Vladimir earlier, which was something that he prefers as a champion for himself. I don't rate Vladimir.
Unless you're Magi.
I didn't rate it then. I just think Magi was too good for the opposition. But I think not as a blind pick, I think is the big thing.
Sure.
Instead, going for the Cassiopeia for Air, so something that scales well in tandem with that Gangplank and that Senna.
Plenty of scaling on Enclave
Yeah,
side.
a lot already. Question is, what will Chimera play into it? Because it can cause... Is it going to be the Nautilus in the mid lane? Is it going to be the Nautilus support? There's a lot of options. I feel like Cassiopeia does well into a Nautilus mid lane because the Miasma can obviously cause issues for him. You have enough damage to actually kill him, which not most mid laners don't actually have that. And it looks like because of that, they're just going to put Chimera on the Orianna. Good synergy with Lee Sin if you want to sort of provide a combo with that and matches the scaling to a degree. There's also a lot of team fight potential within that.
Yeah, I do feel...
Nautilus support.
Yeah, I do feel like if you're MnM, though, this game is now on you to be the proactive team. I feel to an extent, just given what you're facing up against.
I feel like to an extent, but...
Because I feel like if you ever got locked into a one, like, because Cassiopeia with teleport can very easily push a side lane, and then you draw Orianna away.
I mean, I don't think she's the best in the side lane, though. You can potentially find picks on her.
Sure. She's quite immobile, right? So...
Yeah, and you can potentially just send... You know, like, Gangplank's not a great split pusher either, so you can potentially just send Set to sort of hold waves against it if you really need. And 1-3-1s, if Chimera is just catching a wave against, like, a Gangplank, is not too much of an issue.
So talk to me about these two comps then. Let's start with Enclave. What do you think about that one? Where are the win conditions there?
I mean, I think it's Cleanse and Healing working together. They've got a great CC combo, finding picks and providing gold to their carries who scale incredibly well.
So it's definitely the scaling on the side of Enclave. But then MnM, you said that there is scaling for them. They have the team fight potential. Where do they win?
I mean, both of them have a ton of scaling. I feel like there's higher impact ults from the side of MnM.
Sure.
So execution in team fights is going to be a big thing. But really, I mean, these are both aggressive early game junglers. When teams both have scaling elements, it comes down a lot to execution. And then the later game team fights, it's going to be, can you find big ults onto the important carries? You know, if you catch the Cassiopeia in the center and a shockwave into the bullet time from Misfortune, yeah, then absolutely you're going to win the team fight. But it comes down to coordination in that regard.
Sure. Okay, so well, let's see how it plays out. There is I think there's probably a decent amount of early game potential, though, from MnM. I feel like they come online a bit earlier than some of the carries from Enclave. You know, like Misfortune, for instance. And Oriana's pretty solid in the mid game.
The carries come online sooner for MnM, but I feel like having an Elise, it's the other direction, because Elise can be very formidable. Especially if you can pair up with the Leona, it's going to be a force to be reckoned with. But really, I think we've seen a lot of drafts with different win conditions throughout the weeks of the UKLC. This is pretty straight on, similar champions in that regard. Maybe not from the exact role they fill, but in terms of when they sort of spike. And yeah, as you said, things like the Misfortune going to be more relevant early as it's a set. I just think it's going to come down to trying to find a lead in the early levels and then executing on that later on.
It's a big group up here for MnM on the red side jungle. Maybe looking to catch someone going for a stray ward, or maybe a late invade onto the blue for against the Elise.
I like this. I don't think we see enough level 1 strategies. We're in a best of 1 scenario in the regular season. Level 1 play is going to get a massive advantage. So I feel like we should look to see those more often. But for now, Clen's going to go for a defensive pixel brush ward. So if they do try and late invade, he'll spot it out. And there's no risk from him walking up. So he's pretty comfortable.
They're just going to back off here, not take any chances early on. They were maybe just looking for that stray invade to try and keep a tab on Lee Sin, but no wards are going to be had. It is quite risky to invade early versus a Nautilus, even to look for vision versus a Nautilus, because you can get caught out super early. Plenty of CC that he can layer on top, so no risks taken by Enclave.
I mean, MnM win the level 1s just incredibly hard. Cleanse, he's placed that ward, he's recalled, picked up the sweeper. Now he's heading towards his red buff. And it looks like Soft also going to start his red buff, but he's soloing it. But they've actually faked Elise. So a lot going into MnM's jungler having an early advantage, because they're denying showing him where he's starting, and that fake leash potentially going to give some misinformation over to the side of Enclave.
And he's going to start on his red side as well, so he's going to straight over towards that blue. Going to go buff to buff in this scenario, maybe just looking to avoid any kind of early engagements with the Lee Sin and just rush down these buffs. Only Angel's managed to hold the wave quite nicely under his turret, so MnM's in a bit of a rough spot here, pushing in so early.
Potential threat from a gank, especially a jungle on the other side, but I think MnM wants the wave to bounce and reset, and then he can be in a comfortable position. Potentially, Soft can path over towards the top side at that point, so he's clearing his Gromp. This wave will hit the tower and bounce. MnM can back off. He could even recall in this position if he wanted to, but there's a lot of passive regen from Set, so he may not need to. I think he's actually going to go for a ward in the jungle right now. So he will be clued up on the fact that blue buff is gone.
He was just checking where the blue buff was. So.
Yeah, so just giving information. And this has been pretty smart from MnM level 1. They deny information with the fake leash and the solo start from Soft. They then get information by MnM's going for that invade there. But it's just little bits of information.
But they think that at least started blue, I think that's why or maybe he's just taking a long path. He's taking a long path to avoid the river wards to maybe go for a gank here. This is actually good stuff from Soft. Maybe to put pressure early onto air. There's a big piece of damage coming through. He's actually, early safeguard, but he may be able to just find the kill here. A little bit, I was a little bit concerned about that. I feel like he could have just walked straight up.
A very long safeguard as well. Like he went way past air in that situation.
Ping's coming in as well. This tower dive might be risky.
Yeah, Flash being burned from MnM, but I think he feels confident to stay around. Has enough health to build up some grit for the Haymaker. So they made his Flash, but more successful for MnM to get that kill onto air and critically burn his Flash as well. It's a big advantage there. And Cleanse is coming over, but they have spotted him. And all in could come through.
Should be able to get out all right, though. I don't think they want to take anything extra here. Air's already burnt that teleport. Chimera doesn't have that teleport, remember. He's gone with the cleanse, because obviously getting caught up by the Elise early on can be a massive issue for him. They're still on a ward right now, a Chu and Defias, so they're not going to get much out of this.
I like this play, though. I like this constant use of priority coming up from MnM. They look for the early aggression. Perhaps concerned that in the later stages of the game, it will get difficult. I think that Enclave, they obviously both sides have lots of scaling elements to them, but Enclave, you need to shut down the likes of the Cassiopeia, but Sophie's found Cleanse.
Cleanse is going to repel upwards. That means the Sonic Wave will come down, but Soph is going to continue to put pressure down. I think the rotation coming in here from the bot lane is going to be very risky. Cleanse going very low. He's going to flash over the wall, and suddenly Soph taking damage. This Sonic Wave lands, though, and Soph might even be able to get out of this. The damage is not there from Senna. That was clean from Soph. And
it was nice, but maybe a little bit overcommit onto the kill.
Sure.
Defias actually ended up cleaning it up with the Ignite, but it was good movements from all of MnM to essentially get him out of that situation. The priority that was achieved by the bot lane helping out massively there. And now the wave going to be pushing into MnM. I don't think they're going to be in a position to freeze this right now because of the harass from Senna. But it's actually going to catch just in front of the tower, so it worked out well.
Yeah, that's nice. Really good play. I thought the Sonic Wave, because he bounced over towards the Elise. I think he must have just landed the Sonic Wave, but the Ignite did the work.
Yeah, it was kill in the end for Defias.
Still good, though. I mean, they've put pressure. It's early. The early aggression, like you said, from MnM is what you like to see. Constantly pressuring out Cleanse as well. And we've talked about the mid-jungle combo underperforming from Enclave in the last few games, and it very much seems the way now that they are trying to target that particular aspect of the Enclave roster.
Yeah, they're doing a lot to sort of punish them, and right now they're on the back foot already. Cassiopeia, not the biggest issue, but it's not like you're against, you know, a champion who will fall off, say like a Pantheon. You're up against an Orianna. Orianna is going to be super relevant in the late stage of the game as well, so you don't really want to be behind, but keeping up in CS is a major thing for Air. Mama's going for a big haymaker on Only Angel.
Don't think he's going to get much out of it, though. Only Angel is just going to chill. Again, this is a top lane matchup that... I mean, actually, that's a good question to ask, because top lane matchup, how does it roll? How does Set versus Gangplank go?
So, Only Angel, typically on a Gangplank, you're good in the melee matchups, because you can trade quite well with him, but not so much with Set, because if you get up close to him, Set's stun also sort of pulls you into him, which is not exactly where you want to be as a Gangplank. You want to like play on the fringes of melee and use your parlay. And also it's a fact, oh, Soft looking for something.
I think they're going to get a kill here onto Air in the mid lane. They did pick up the Dragon. It is only the first Dragon in the game, though. Cleanse is going to back off. Now Heathen stuck on the wrong side, get pulled back in. He will be able to flash across the wall, you feel, in just a second. He's actually holding on to it. I think he realizes he's surrounded, not even going to bother wasting the flash in this scenario. And he will eventually go down. Chu picks up the kill. 4 kills now for MnM. 2,500 gold lead started to open up.
Pretty significant, but as I was saying, yeah, the Set, he can get up in the Gangplank's face, make his life difficult, and the ability you max the haymaker, it's got a long range, so Gangplank can't actually sit there and rely on having a safe distance. I do say, though, it's not normally this bad. Only Angel definitely struggling up against Mummas, who, when he was in the UK in spring of last year, was definitely, well, you can at least argue the best top lane in the league.
I think he got Rookie of the Split, right? And what are the Rookie of the Split? Maybe the first split of the UKLC?
They used to got every Rookie.
Oh, did he get every Rookie of the Split?
I'm joking. Because
oh, wait, that's the meme, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good meme.
I mean, you obviously can only get Rookie of the Split once.
Yes, but used to get to every split because he's used to. Did Mummas get Rookie of the Split, or was he close to getting Rookie of the Split? I think he definitely was up there, or at least in the contention. There's going to be the ultimate coming out from Only Angel. The flash comes through. Mummas doesn't have his flash available. I feel like he may just get his solo killed here. One more parlay. Very close, and Only Angel does get the kill, but the rotation from Chu will chase back, and actually that's not too much lost in that scenario.
But just as I'm praising Mummas there, he makes a pretty big oversight and gets caught out by Only Angel. What's costly, though, is a 1-for-1 overall, and Only Angel burned both TP and flash to get in that situation. So not exactly the best case scenario for Enclave, but Only Angel showing that he still can go toe-to-toe. Actually interesting, because MnM had Mummas on the roster, then Only Angel, now Mummas again. So almost...
There you go.
Mummas made the return and stole away Only Angel's spot. Looks like Only Angel got a little bit of revenge in that situation.
So they rotate up to top lane, I guess preemptively looking at the next objective, which would be the Rift Herald. I think MnM just reading that now the Dragon's down, there's no reason for Enclave to keep their bot lane on the bot side of the map, so they're just going to preemptively get to the top side as well.
Yeah, and priority always a big thing of who can rotate up further and often get vision control, but Soft, a little slow in the rotation up the top side. Is going to clear up as red, but it basically means that normally the team who gets to the top side first, they get complete vision control over the top side river, and it's very easy to set the Herald. But you'll see there's still a control ward, still decent ward coverage from Enclave, and it's because Soft a little bit late and wasn't in position. Achu is able to find priority here though, so he will just shove this wave in, and then he can move up with Soft and start to clear that out.
Something that, while they're doing this clearing, I want to point out is actually, even though we talked about that matchup with Mummus versus Only Angel, Mummus he's 25 CS up. He's going to walk away from the free plate though. Oh, it's close. Maybe he just knew that was gonna not go down. I would have maybe stuck around for the plate, but
maybe didn't want to die as well. It's a big thing.
You think he would have died in that scenario?
Not necessarily, but he died before when he overstayed, so I think you have to be cautious. Or at least taking a really bad trade when you don't really want to. Because right now, coming in.
The ult forces the flash immediately from Durking. He's not going to stick around to potentially be hooked in that scenario. And Achu now constantly putting a bit of pressure down. And that's the flash down as well from Durking. So he could be a target for Lee Sin gank or dive in the near future, but not going to get anything off just yet. They have that Rift Herald to work with. You imagine that's going to be looking to take the first turret of the game in that instance. But they are just going to back off now.
Yeah, I think moving down the bot side of the map again, they have priority. They get a reset first. So they will move down and look to set up for the Dragon again. And this should be the pace of games. You don't want to overstay on a side of the map that's not relevant. As soon as that Herald's down, you look towards that Dragon, you bring the numbers advantage, and get in position to take it. Now, Enclave, they're pushing the wave on the top side as a reaction. Mummus, this is pretty greedy, because he's going to miss out on a wave top side as a result of this.
Yeah, he just takes the Rift Herald.
So obviously wanting to have enough gold for an item when he recalls, but essentially sacrificing that wave to overstay the scuttle. But he does secure it before anyone from Enclave can move in. So there is, pros and cons to it. Either way, MnM will be sort of on the bot side of the map first. You can see the fire's already moving into the river, and importantly, Achu already setting up the wave so he can shove it in. Someone has to answer, and then they can move over to the Dragon. Actually, Achu's holding this wave for a while, so he wants to shove it in when Enclave arrive. He wants someone catching the wave under the tower as the Dragon spawns. So you see it's coming up in a couple of seconds, and I believe Achu will shove this wave in now. And it's at this point, someone needs to go bot lane to answer. Yeah,
otherwise they're going to lose a lot. I mean, he's stacked a couple of... I think he stacked that next wave coming in as well, so he's going to bring Durking, and Durking can't exactly clear that super quickly, so
There's actually an intelligent play there coming out from Achu to set this up. So now the Heathen Durkin, they are trapped in the tower here, but they're actually just going to go for the play, looking to dive.
Oh, Durking immediately pops the stopwatch. That's good enough. The Rift Herald comes out too. Will that be enough to get the turret? I don't think it will be.
Not even close.
They'll take a few plates, though, off the back of it. They may even get the fourth plate, but they're not going to take any risks here. That fourth plate does go down, I think. However, it's a lot of damage to that turret, so, one thing goes wrong on the bot side of the map and you're going to take that first turret of the game. They are going to start up this Dragon for the moment. Mummus just pushed that mid wave in and now is going to head back towards top. Has got that teleport available should he need it to join the fight.
Yeah, the roam down was to cover the mid lane, so they maintain priority and they don't lose any damage on the tower. But the cost is you give a plate over to Only Angel on top side, so pros and cons, but you get a bunch of plates bot, you get the Dragon, and now Mummus, he's going for a trade.
He's going for a trade, pulls in Only Angel, immediately ults him to try and keep him in range. The flash is available for Only Angel. I don't think he's going to need it. Durking actually now the target as Aphias jumps in, big kick onto Cleanse. Cleanse repels up, but he will go down, and now it's going to be Soft flashing out. Goes down to Durking, who ults as well. This is a big trade from them. Durking is very healthy, and Aphias is probably going to pay for it with his life too. Close, actually. Manages to back out, but it's the Orianna rotating down that definitely gives warning to Durking and Heathen, and they will back out.
Yeah, definitely could have got a second kill there, but Orianna moving gives them a little bit of concern. Chimera with the Luden's able to easily blow up waves and find priority right now, and not quite at the point where you want to be playing Cassiopeia. Not the end. Look at that damage coming in from the Orianna. Definitely not really comfortable in this matchup as of yet, but it's nice to see the bot lane of Enclave doing quite a bit of work there, managing to find that kill, despite the fact Cleanse essentially got blown up instantly. Turret plates are due to come down pretty soon. And for now, both teams sort of resetting and getting back on the map.
Yeah, I also like that Enclave didn't even bother trying to contest that dragon. They had not got the time to set up the vision control. So walking into a Nautilus when you have no vision control is basically a death sentence. And we don't even have Thresh in the game. So it's essentially rough for them to do that. And they just made the heads-up play of following the Orcs tradition of, well, it's their first dragon, who cares?
Yep. Not really that worth it. For now, though, MnM not choosing to swap up the Herald. They're trying to maintain the vision on the bot side and look for the first tower gold right now. That's the objective they're focused on. That tower very low on HP. And I believe it's stacking up a wave. Potentially look for the dive here, or at least to pressure the tower off the back of it. It's one plate left, but that last one is... Actually, it's not a plate anymore.
There's no plate anymore, so it should be a bit easier to take.
Yeah, so not actually that tanky at all. So I believe that's why they're on the bot side looking for this tower, because it would be pretty easy to pick up. And see the gold in front of you. Jungle and AD carry are the big differences that are relevant. Achu quite far ahead in farm as of now, and with 2 kills in the pocket, but it looks like they don't feel confident to go for the tower just yet. But
they don't really have
to get some vision,
and
then
support,
Achu,
right?
he's just going for it. He's getting the first tower gold to himself.
He's stun up a fire. So they're not going to get the engage there. That was good from Chu. He just knew his limits, knew what he could do, and they saw Leona as well on the top side of the map. So the CC under tower, the pressure from that comes from that. They knew there was no way of them really losing out in that scenario. So it was good play.
Yeah, a lot of gold go to the pocket off Achu as well for that first tower. So putting the MF in even more of a comfortable spot.
Oh, only Angel looking for the trade versus Mummus. In comes the Heathen as well. He has the ultimate available. There is the flash. Here comes Soft, just blocking off Only Angel as well. Huge shields coming through there. Ultimate from Seth will pick up the kill, and Heathen just left out to dry by Only Angel. Soft continuing the pressure, but I don't think he's going to... Oh, he might do. No, he's not going to take it. He's too high HP. He's not going to get the immediate execute. Doesn't suffer from Monkey's syndrome and won't take that dive into tower.
Yeah, but a nice play, nice reaction from MnM. Enclave trying to find a window where they were faster to the objective, but Seth... not the easiest target to take down with that Haymaker shield coming in. So ultimately, MnM get the favorable play and now looking straight towards that Herald.
I'm going to pick it up here, I think, with relative ease, just because with Heathen being down, there's not really many ways they can contest it. Well, he's back up now. They are coming through, but they're just a little bit late to the party because of that death timer. I'm actually going to immediately get the attack onto Heathen. He's going to have to be forced to flash away. Chimera just jumps in. The stopwatch isn't going to save Heathen in the end, and it'll be a double kill picked up here, as he also picked up the kill onto Cleanse as well. That's that Orianna with a lot of AP to work with. Durking now going to be forced back by Achu, who pops out that ultimate. In comes a fire, forces the flash. And that'll be Senna staying safe. But honestly, MnM turning up the heat in this game.
Yeah, game's starting to fall out of control for Enclave right now. MnM applying pressure across the map, and it feels like at first Enclave seemed to be holding up okay, but now they're just dying here, there, and everywhere. Particularly mid-jungle support. A lot of times they've gone down, and Enclave just struggling to really find any purchase on the map right now. Dragon spawning pretty soon. Achu's going to push his wave up and then reset, and I feel like there's very little chance Enclave are in a position to contest. 5,000 the gold lead at 17 minutes. I think they're potentially going for a pick here, but the warning pings come out from MnM. They know they've not established presence on the bot side of the map. They don't really want to risk contesting this fog unless they're in a position where they know they can take the fight. And Enclave, I respect the play, but this is definitely desperation.
Yeah.
They know it's not in a good spot.
It's not in a good spot, though. They are completely correct. Second dragon in the game doesn't mean much. I don't think you need to contest this if you're Enclave right now. You have the scaling. Remember, you talked about this just yesterday. You know, if you've got the scaling, the likes of the scaling that Enclave has, there's no reason to throw your life away for the second dragon in the game.
Yeah, I think they were looking for a pick onto Mummus potentially. Opportunity didn't come. Back away. You know, push out some waves, catch that wave bot lane. And as I say that, looks like they are trying to contest, so...
I mean, they have brought down Only Angel right now. There's the ultimate coming through. They do not get the steal. I think Cleanse is just going to end up losing his life. As jumps in for the fight. Big kick, big shockwave, even bigger execution as Enclave just throw everything away for the second dragon. Air is now going to be the target. Big ultimate as well coming through. Soft's going to land the Sonic Wave, and although the shutdown comes through, it is a 4-for-1 trade. And Orcs is just shaking his head. It might even be a 5-for-1 trade.
Oh.
Good outplay from Durking.
Yeah, Durking actually shoot. I thought that ult was so tragically bad, but it worked out because Soft a little bit missed micro.
It doesn't save the play, though. It doesn't save what just happened right there.
I mean, it was a nice combo from MnM, but you don't need to fight that Enclave. It's their second dragon, and now the game is in an even worse state. And I think it's just the issue with Enclave is that they just pick these inopportune moments to try and walk up, to contest, to step up, and they end up paying for it massively. You didn't need that dragon.
No.
Cleanse went for the fast steal. Imagine a scenario where he got that mountain dragon. Okay?
Wow, you've got 2 dragons now.
It's exactly the same. You still would have had that many people. I mean, maybe the plan was, oh, if we steal the dragon, we'll have mentality edge, and then we'll win the team fight. But unfortunately, no, it doesn't quite work like that. I don't think the 6% armor and MR would really made a difference there. And MnM, 6,000 gold up. In a comfortable spot.
Yeah.
You can see the goal leads now across the board. They're ahead. I think the only one holding up is only Angel. Obviously getting a bit of extra gold income from that parlay passive.
I don't know. Like you said, it's not worth it for the second dragon. Just let it go. Farm some waves. Get yourself back into the game.
Live to fight another day.
Exactly. Now you've just doomed yourself to another extra few minutes that you need to catch up, and even to the extent we're in this game where you probably aren't going to be able to catch up.
Yeah, and it's like, there will come a point where you have to contest these objectives. But it's going to be even harder now because you've given up more gold over to MnM.
Second dragon is not that time.
No.
Summon the Rift Herald here in the mid side of the map, and Air actually going for the 1v1 versus Mummus. Actually gets helped out by the Gangplank ultimate. Great ult from Mummus to actually keep himself safe. He flashes in, but unfortunately can't find the 1v1. It was actually pretty solid from Mummus there, but...
It was nice from Air, and the key moment he waited for was for Mummus to use the Haymaker for wave clear.
Yeah.
And that's a massive tool for this set, and he did get to use it again at the end of the fight.
But if he had it again in that rotation, it probably would have picked up the kill.
Absolutely. I think it would have been a much harder fight for Air, but overall, well played by him. It was a nice ult from Mummus. It buffered the timing of the Petrifying Gaze. He wouldn't get stunned. But ultimately, Cassiopeia pretty strong in these 1v1s and starting to come online as a champion, but still not really in a position where they want to contest MnM in the 5v5.
Yeah, they do have the Seraphs and the Rylai's, so it does help massively for Air. They are putting him in the side lane just to generate some solo experience and solo farm.
This is a good play. Hostas, they might potentially be pressured on this mid tower.
Yeah, I wish to see if they can respond to this. There's the ultimate, does miss from Heathen, and Hafias may be looking to just catch Heathen when he jumps in.
Mechanics, there we go.
Exactly, both missing their skill shots, lockdowns. Mummus heads back down towards the bottom side of the map. However, I mean, MnM probably aren't too fussed with just losing that side lane kill. They put a bit of damage down onto these tier 2s. A lot of damage onto that mid lane tier 2 as well. And you can see they're still hovering. They've got good vision control. Probably aren't going to be going for Baron anytime soon. I don't think they're that far ahead. Zoning ultimate from Misfortune comes out just so they can pick up that tier 2 turret in the mid lane. And that's a nice pickup there. I like to see Misfortune ultimates used like that. It's a really good zoning tool.
Absolutely is. Can allow you get objectives. And right now, I don't think Enclave are really going to look for a team fight, even with that ultimate down. Slowing down that next dragon now on the cards.
And that is a dragon that you probably don't need to contest, but it definitely puts the worry in Enclave, because once that's gone down, then you do need to start usually contesting dragons.
Yeah, I think at third dragon, you ask yourself, right, are we in a position to fight?
And if you're not, you leave it. But when it comes to fourth dragon, then you have a more important decision to make.
Yeah, I think it just, as more are picked up by the other side, there's more and more emphasis on you trying to fight it, but you have to assess the goal situation. Maybe if they didn't try and contest that fairly early on, this one would be more of an option, but either way, they're really far behind, so I guess we'll see, because they shouldn't have contested the last one. We'll see if they learn from that mistake or if they're going to go for it again.
Yeah, I still don't think they're in any better of a position to fight right now. Maybe Cassiopeia has picked up a couple of extra items, but I still think when it comes to a full-on team fight, you did say that MnM just have the easier and sort of more powerful 5v5 team fight.
And I mean, you look at the Orianna with Luden's Rabadon.
I mean, Rabadon's a huge pickup for Orianna.
Yeah, that Shockwave, especially it was quite a few patches ago, but they buffed the AP ratio on the Shockwave. It hurts. It hurts a lot. So they're not contesting it. I think this is the right call.
Yeah, it is indeed. It's going to be now only Angel focused down. I guess he didn't expect a Chu and a Fires to be on the top side of the map with the Dragon going down. They didn't really have any vision control of the river area, so I guess they just automatically assumed that the bot lane would be there around the Dragon.
And I think that's the problem, is that Enclave didn't even show any inclination to pseudo contest. They didn't even look. It was very apparent for MnM that Enclave weren't contesting, and that's what cost Only Angel his life. They could have at least moved over in that vicinity.
Could have put a ward over the wall or something.
Yeah, looked like they were vaguely interested, and that would have kept Only Angel potentially more safe. But for now, MnM, they have control of the top side. They've taken down Only Angel. They're going to start off this Baron. They have been spotted out, however, but I think MnM might be setting up just to take the fight in this one.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to commit to the Baron this hard. It's definitely it's pretty low, but that's the shockwave that only hits Heathen. That's not the best shockwave in the world, but in the meantime, they get the engage. MnM's now in the front line. He's going to look for a big ult. He does get a big ult. He's on that front line. Huge damage coming out as well, and that's going to be the engage from Soft. The kick comes through. They're going to isolate and kill, and now it is only Angel and Air left alive with Heathen on the back line, very low in HP. He's all but dead, and now only Angel should be dead too. Heathen is going to get locked up by that safeguard jump, and that should be Baron easily for MnM.
Yeah, really well executed team fight coming out from MnM. Mumma's huge in that one with the true damage from the Haymaker, and then the follow-up really solid from the rest of the team. Just clean execution, making it look easy. So now MnM heading towards that Baron. They don't even need 4 members to do it. They'll get this inhibitor tower as well, and potentially get the inhibitor on top of it, although I think with the timers coming through,
yeah,
just going to back off on that.
Back off, he'll take the wave.
By the way, the base is already broken before you even have Baron. Puts you in a really good spot.
Chimera's going to stick around here. Cleanse is actually positioned really nicely, flashes over. Chimera just a little bit... Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. Got a little bit greedy, but never mind. That's Rabadon's Orianna for you.
Clan just like, I've got... Oh, wait, I'm a 0-5 Elise.
0-6 now.
Yep.
With literally just the jungle item completed.
So, not the greatest performance.
Cleanse has had question marks raised from him this week, especially.
Well, at least Chimera didn't have Cleanse in that situation. So the cocoon did land and stick.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Clever. He out-cleansed the cleanse.
Yeah.
Still looking rough right now because it's a 10k gold lead for MnM, and I think they're going to very easily take this game. I think Enclave are going to find themselves at 0-4 in the standings.
Yeah.
And MnM are going to very happily sit themselves at 2-2.
Harry is looking for a potential pick on a Mummus again. A little bit better equipped because he has Hysterics now, which will keep him alive quite a while. And
they're grouping up on him.
I mean, this is the play. This is the play.
Yeah. He's going to flash, immediately jumps over. I think Heathen will be able to lock him down with the ultimate as well. He gets a big shield, a lot of damage, but he will eventually go down. They're actually just going to run in and take the inhibitor here.
Yeah, but that is the play. You don't win 5v5, you 10k go down. You are in desperation mode. You get a pick on the top laner, and now you recall and you try and force a fight 4v5. It doesn't look good because your base is getting smashed, but I'm being honest, that is the best case scenario for Enclave in the current situation they're in.
Yeah.
I think you engage. I think you just look for it right now. It's your only chance. Heathen's looking.
He's going to look for it. Zenith Blades into Ifias. Ifias may be looking to just give away his life for this. Enclave aren't even interested. They know how much damage Chimera can do if they're grouped up, and they maybe weren't set up correctly. So even though they picked up the top laner, they end up losing 2 inhibitors.
I mean, MnM just end up disengaging. They got the inhibitors. That's what they wanted. There's no reason for them to overstay.
Yeah.
So there we go. I like the play coming out from Enclave. I think it's the right call, but it's one of those situations where you're so far behind in gold that even the best case scenario is unlikely and kind of doesn't do much as well. It's a little bit of a weak attempt, but...
I mean, it was the only, like you said, it's the only thing that they could do in that scenario. They can't win 5v5. They probably couldn't even win 4v5, to be honest with you.
It's the 10% play, but in a game like this, you take 10% play.
Exactly. You need to just take the wins where you can get them. It's going to be the 4th Dragon of the game coming up pretty soon. I'm very likely that MnM are just going to group up around that. They have no reason to be in either mid lane or top lane right now because they have taken those inhibitors, so they can kind of let the lanes do the work for them.
So in this situation, MnM actually think they're just moving past the Dragon. So, I mean, it's not up for a minute, but they're just going to pressure the last lane standing with an inhibitor. Enclave potentially looking for a pick here.
They're going to get cleansed with the Sonic Wave, and that is going to be Soft jumping in. Doesn't want to convert much further than that. The kick comes in onto the Cassiopeia, and they will take the kill onto Cleanse. A big ultimate coming out from a Chu. but he won't actually find any kills off the back of it. He's just going to zone away Heathen and Only Angel in this scenario. But that's enough to maybe get the last inhibitor of the game. Maybe even wrap up the game in its entirety.
Yeah, I mean, they're so strong right now. They can take this. They can then go get Mountain Dragon if they're feeling safe. But I feel like there's really no point. You win 5v5, and now it's 5v4. You've got super minions in the mid and top. This is Enclave's last stand.
Oh, MnM jumps in with the ultimate. Big shield coming through. The Haymaker is big as well. Soft goes in, tries to look for a bit of damage. Big shockwave instantly blows up the center, and now Chimera is the target. He should go down here to the Cassiopeia, but in the meantime, they've lost every single one of their Nexus turrets. MnM playing this a little bit safe, but right now Achu is pumping out the damage. They just need to find a couple of basic attacks. Look at Cleanse getting wiped off the floor. And Air and Only Angel, I don't think that they can do this by themselves. Only Angel tries, the kick comes through, there's a Sonic Wave, and I think this will be it for Enclave. MnM will pick up the win. They will go 2-2 as Only Angel desperately flashes in. The Nexus will go down. MnM takes the win.
Enclave still very much struggling. MnM looking more refined, but I feel like Enclave not the strongest opposition for them, and it's got me worried for this roster. 0-4 in the first 2 weeks, and I don't see it necessarily getting any better unless a lot of work is put in. There were moments where I think they made the right decisions, but there were also moments I think they made the wrong decisions, and I think flat out, MnM were just the better players.
They were. I mean, especially the mid jungle again for Enclave struggling in the early game.
Cleanse looking rough.
Cleanse does not look comfortable right now. Again, everyone has their off days. I'm not going to judge too harshly because everyone does have their off days. But Soft desperately looked the better jungler in this particular scenario. And honestly, Air did not have the best of times either in the mid lane. I feel like Enclave just need to spend this week going through their VODs and figuring out, okay, look. Everyone in this league are good players. Everyone in the league is good players. Everyone can have their win on their day. Enclave probably ain't looking for a top 3 right now, but that 4th spot is still up for grabs.
I'm going to go further than that. I don't think this team makes playoffs.
No, I don't think they do either. I'm just saying that they.
I don't think it's possible for a team like this to turn around things that drastically to make playoffs.
Sure.
I think right now they assess, they look to improve. It's a long-term goal. A lot of these players are fresh faces in the UK. You look to keep putting the time in, and then you look to challenge teams. I mean, there's a big difference between getting not a single win and getting a couple here and there. And I think that's something that you can do. I mean, maybe I'll be proved wrong, but I just really
I don't think you will. I do think there's a lot of turnaround to do for this team. But what I'm saying is like a long shot goal for them could be 4th. If they really step things up, which I think it'll be hard, a long-term goal for them could be 4th. But this is good for MnM because 2-2 now does put them in contention for 4th place.
Yeah, I think MnM definitely looking better. I think for Enclave, it's just assess your opponents, try and find a couple of wins. Because right now they've lost to Phelan, they've lost to MnM. I don't really.
They've only got the big boys left as well, realistically.
I don't see many. I haven't seen a team play yet in the league who I think Enclave could take them. And I think it's a lot of work, but there's always going to be a team who are currently struggling at the bottom. And with time, it's hoping that they'll be able to start to challenge some of the middle of the pack rosters. It's definitely rough, but there's always going to be an 8th place roster. And right now, that's the spot they find themselves in. So it's only uphill from here. I think you just kind of have to wipe away the ego, say, look, we're struggling. Let's do our best to try and make this a good run. It's always pretty difficult in the UK with how top heavy it is. It's always been a struggle to sort of contest for EU Masters, and I think it's just a matter of do what we can.
That could be the bombshell that we end on with that game. But we have our ticket match coming up after the break, the one that everyone has been looking forward to seeing. Fnatic versus XL. Don't go anywhere.